So grateful to be here and very happy to discuss these incredibly important and hard to talk about topics. He has an incredible backbone and staggering moral fiber. Howie is totally committed, completely ethical, totally admirable. No pressure if you can hear this, but honestly, Howie's a hero to me.
John, you joined us before, and it was a pretty incredible kind of testimony you gave, and you just devoted your life to advocacy for child trafficking, and even 9/11 truth. Maybe you could explain to us, in the last decade, what do you think the most challenging parts of coming alive on some of these issues have been?
Probably the hardest thing, and it continues, is just realizing that pretty much everything that I was told and taught since I was in grade school is probably not true. A few little
Hello?
I think we're on.
Okay. Oh, man. My Skype was having a problem. As a matter of fact, nothing was green.
Well, the good news is I think we only had a couple minutes of dead air this time versus 7. So.
Yeah, that I apologize. That was my fault. I have some problems with Skype every now and again. How are you, John?
Not bad, Howie. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I just got to get somebody to can you check if we're actually broadcasting? Because that would probably help. I'm gonna see if anybody's
I can look.
Live tweeting. Let's see.
I'm checking right now.
Okay. I think I can check, but I think I got to go in the other room.
You might have to say something, though.
Should I just keep talking?
I just got to get somebody.
Yeah, we're on. All right, fantastic.
Yay. Hi, everybody.
Official. All right, now I can get in mode. Oh, I hate technical problems, but
where were we?
Right. I don't know. Where were we?
Oh, this is the show. I thought that. Okay, see, we were talking on the phone, and the next thing I know, we're on the show. So.
Well, last show when we was dead for 4 minutes, I said it was probably the best 4 minutes of our, that we've ever done, and this is probably confirming it.
Yeah, we've added to our totals. So.
Yeah.
We got that going for us. Well, we got Bad Pennies, and it was actually The Bad Penny was the title of the show. This is part 2, and I should have made it Bad Pennies because we've got a couple of them turning up, and I guess we'll just do the topical corruption part off the bat. And we've got Debbie Wasserman Schultz, from all reports, losing her mind, because her boy Imran has been arrested for. I read that indictment or the FBI, whatever that was, the PDF from the Justice Department, and I think NBC reported it was for one loan, and I'm pretty sure in the indictment it talked about 5, 6, maybe up to 10. So.
Yeah, and right before he was trying to wire $300,000, back to, I don't know whether it's Pakistan or this other country that I never even heard of.
His wife made off like a bandit. I think she got the 165,000, and then up to, she made a wire transfer for 280,000. Now, how do they do that? Because if I tried to do that and it was over $10,000, I think I'd have the IRS and the FBI at my door. So I just wonder how does that work?
How do you wire $300,000? You're probably asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I'll probably never know either, or need to.
But I mean, this is it's just so crazy. And, I did wake up early this morning and call into C-SPAN and get it mentioned on the air. So I don't know if people saw that. I
did see that. And
I didn't do such a great job because, I called in, I expected to get hung up on, and then she started, I was like, this is a massive story and you're ignoring it. And she's like, well, why is it massive? I'm like, why? What? Why is it massive? I'm like,
you assumed that she might have something on the ball and actually no.
Well, she did read off they read off the article, but I'm like, listen, I mean, they were C-SPAN today was doing a 3-hour segment on. Hey, sorry. A 3-hour segment on the opioid. Faye, stop. Opioid crisis in America, and the opioid crisis in America. It's a huge thing, but I've never seen C-SPAN take 3 hours to all of a sudden just focus in on a problem that's been going on for, I don't know, a decade.
Yeah.
Today was the day, but I went in and I interrupted that, and when you call into C-SPAN, if it you kind of have to lie to get off, to say you want to say something on their topic. Yeah. So it's a little nerve wracking, like first of all, you have to call and hopefully get through. And then you have to lie, and then you have to get on the air. But I mean, it got out there, and actually the follow-up caller, she added, the next caller added on to it. So it worked out really well. And it was just to break up their narrative. And the bottom line is you're not talking about this. And C-SPAN, when they read from articles, they always go to the New York Times. Well, they couldn't read from the New York Times today because they haven't touched Imran Awan. So, they had to use, I believe they used NBC as their source.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. She pulls up an NBC article. That's the one I was talking about. That's how because I never read or listen to anything from NBC. But
right.
They were talking about the $165,000 loan. Yeah, okay. And they talked about his wife escaping the country with $280,000 and $12,000 in her purse. Right?
Yeah.
Right. I think they stopped her at the airport. She had $12,000 in her purse. She'd already made the transfer that nobody should be able to make because of the $10,000 limit that you and I would have to adhere to before we had to.
Yeah, I mean, I also got lucky today because the woman who did C-SPAN today, and I've gotten through to her before. Her name's Greta. I don't know her last name. She will actually kind of let you talk. There's one of the hosts. His name's Pedro. He would have cut me off, and he would have cut me off as soon as I said Imran. I wouldn't have gotten Ron out. I would have said Im, and he would have.
Vote for Pedro.
This guy. I mean, and there, so many people calling to C-SPAN are like, oh, thank God for C-SPAN, love C-SPAN, and I mean, they're in the bag like everybody else is. I mean, they're paid. They get their funding from the cable companies, and they act like they're this impartial, just taking call. I mean, no. I mean, every article is from Washington Post, New York Times, Washington Post, New York Times. So anyway, I'm glad I was able to get it on there, and trigger a couple liberals in the process.
Yeah,
because they're like, this is.
I mean, we had that today, and the A1 story continues to unfold, and they're actually having to cover it, and it looks like they're calling for a congressional investigation. I heard Trump is aware of the story. He tweeted about it, he definitely did. He tweeted that Wasserman's aide was nabbed leaving the country. Which just doesn't look good for her. And I saw a picture of her, and obviously she's not giving any interviews. But that
really, she's not.
I don't think so. Unless maybe she when she runs off to her district down in Florida, she'll run into George Webb and give those guys an interview down there. I suggested to them that they go to her Aventura office and teach them how to use caller ID, because when they called in the death threat to Jared Beck with the voice changer, they apparently forgot how to use their call blocking capacity. So, maybe. You never know. But, yeah, it's nice to see this all unraveling. And on the same day, I'm, going through the different YouTube and this and that I go through every day, and I see that the Deputy Attorney General of the state of California has been arrested for possession of child rape images on his computer. And that was just very good news to me. I mean, I don't remember, there's been a few I'd say maybe assistant district attorneys, maybe definitely some lawyers. And I don't ever remember an attorney general of the state being arrested for child porn. And it just, this has to be chipping away at the general public's, cognitive dissonance on the subject, because it's so horrible. Right. And they don't want to believe that it can be everywhere. But I mean, if you've got the deputy, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean and that's all right. We're pushing this stuff down their throats, and they keep saying, "Oh, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake." And it seems like every day there's a new story coming out, and you just keep saying, "Oh, it's fake, it's fake," and this guy's name is Raymond Joseph Liddy. Yeah. And you'll be happy to know that he's pled not guilty, John. But I have this story from the LA Times, and he has a logical explanation. When two FBI agents and a task force officer interviewed Liddy at his home on Tuesday, he admitted using the internet services by the first provider and the screen name associated with the. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I apologize.
It's okay.
The tips were forwarded to San Diego Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, which traced activity to home in Coronado. Investigators dug deeper into user emails and chat logs and found that the person portrayed himself as a 48-year-old married man with children. Through his user profile, he indicated was 52. He said the investigation began after an electronic service provider sent a tip to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Okay. In January, that a user had updated an image that appeared to be child porn, according to the complaint. About a month later, another service provider sent a similar tip to the organization, reporting that the user had uploaded 10 such images via a messaging program. So when the FBI asked him, he admitted certain things. He said that he used a screen name and other aliases to share sexual fantasies online, saying that he often downloaded sexual images but deleted them shortly after. He said he may have forwarded some of the images before deleting them. The document said he couldn't remember that. He further explained that most of the images were of adults, but that it is possible some may have been of children. So he's not really sure,
Motherfucker.
Yeah, they
Like-
may have been. They were mostly, and there may have been some children in there. I can't remember all.
I try not to curse on here, but motherfucker, really, okay?
Yeah.
Like, because I remember the day we're all sitting on Twitter and we get some link and we click on it and it's like child rape going on right in front of our eyes. And I wish I could forget that, but this piece of shit can't remember. I mean, if you were sitting at your computer, Howie, and you open up an email and you see images of a child being raped.
Yeah, it's not something you're going to forget, and you're not sure if you forwarded them. You may have forwarded to some people. Yeah, come on, dude, come on.
Yeah,
but he's a lawyer, and that's what lawyers are going to do. But the thing about that, he uploaded 1 or 10 images. I think that I don't think he uploaded one image and the internet service provider just jumped all over that. I mean, I'm sure he was uploading lots and lots and lots. There's not that people. I remember a story from England where a guy had 750,000 images on his computer. He was a nurse. I wish I could get that story again. And I'm thinking 750,000 on his work computer, and they were all categorized really well. But we'll see how the story plays out. But Deputy Attorney General of the state of California. This is not small.
No,
this is not small.
And I'll be researching this, but I think it's the highest governmental law enforcement officer that's ever been arrested for this. So people better wake the fuck up. And if they think that the Attorney General himself is immune from this, or our Attorney General, or, well, we know our former Speaker of the House, Hastert, was not immune from it. And the other part that slips through the cracks is, from what I've been able to see, anybody that has those images on their computer offends. Okay, and just like these, I can't even think of a word for them, but they're honeybee shut one of them off the other day. But these supposed non-offending pedophiles, they're going to offend. It's a matter of time if they haven't already. I think it's all just a charade and something to normalize this.
They're offending. I mean, they're offending by creating a market for this, because if nobody was, people wouldn't. It's a business. We have to remember too. This is a business. It's not just pedophiles doing it all for sexual gratification. They're doing it for money, and some are doing it for money, and some are doing it for the torture. The more you see the sickness of it, it's not like a sexual thing almost. So if there's no market for child pornography, people will stop doing it. They're not going to, if they can't make money doing it, they can't sustain themselves. That's why some people do it.
Yeah. And just as a test case, look at Nasser. I mean, get child rape images on his computer. Well, guess what? He was raping children. It's not a leap, and it would probably be a miracle if this guy, Liddy, Gordon Liddy, and this guy, I mean, Liddies aren't doing too well, but it would be a miracle. I would have to, and anybody in that position that's got the hubris and the sickness to do what he did already, is it like a far jump to be offending with children, and I think these ones that are up that high, they're the ones that are in the networks, and the kids they're offending with don't have the it's not like Joe Lone Wolf pedophile that's offending and the kid tells his parents. These kids are captive to these networks, and that's why these assholes don't get found out. The higher you move in the echelon, I would bet my life on it that this guy is involved in some kind of network that's trafficking kids that are under lock and key, and that's why he's been able to do it for as long as he has, and think that he's safe, that he doesn't have anything to worry about. I can, he probably has some program on his computer that he thinks, nobody's going to find out what he's doing, and the kids definitely aren't going to tell, because they're not able to, and I would bet that's not even being investigated, that side of it. Like, we got it.
Right.
We got
right. And they like to keep it very contained. All the cases, they never want to dig deeper and get into backstories, because whether it's, like the Penn State, the Jerry Sandusky case, they clean that, to me, and even as a Penn State graduate, they clean that up very quickly. And I'm like, this guy was at Penn State for 40 years, and they found like 10, 13, maybe 10 or 13 kids. I mean, he had a nonprofit for years, and maybe thousands of kids came through. It didn't make sense to me. No. And they cleaned it up, and they take Paterno's statue down. They take away his wins. They give him the wins back. They put the statue back up, and now everything's ham and eggs.
And look at, some of these kids are so damaged, and the keepers showed this beautifully, that these memories didn't even surface till this woman was, like in her 30s. So you can, thank God he's behind bars, but I would, there's got to be more victims out there. There just has to be. And
John, you brought up Honeybee, and she did some research, bringing it back to Imran Awan. Is it Awan or Awan? I don't know. Awan. I don't really give a shit.
What you do is you flip a coin, and if it's heads, it's Awan.
All right.
That's what I do. All
right. Well, I'm going to call him Imran Awan just because it's easier, right? It's my Philadelphia accent. But she found his YouTube channel, and he was following some suspect channels, as far as it's not child pornography, but it's sex. It's these YouTube channels that are sexually exploiting children, in different ways. And if you go and look on if you go look at her video, it'll show the channels that Imran Awan was following, these kiddie channels that like the children in suggestive, position. I mean, it's all over YouTube. My YouTube channel got suspended, so I can't follow channels, and I can't I don't dig on YouTube very much. But if Google's out there listening, there's a real problem. I mean, it's not like, quote unquote child pornography, but there's a lot of suggestive,
Yeah, and they just exposed that one huge channel. I think it had 1 billion views of all this,
Yeah.
All these fucking creeps.
I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Was it the one with the family, and they were just making videos of their daughter and just showing her sleeping? And
no, that was it was like a commercial channel that shows, like John Benet Ramsey, they've got these sexualized kids, doing these dances and stuff, and made up and makeup, and it's just unbelievable that, and then you look at the parents, who in the hell would allow their child to do that? And while we're on this, I don't know why this popped in.
It's everywhere. The parents are way into this stuff.
And I'm going to post these links, but did you see the latest thing they've uncovered, the scam that these networks are using to kidnap these kids?
No.
With the cell phone. Okay, I got to get this out. And parents, any parents listening, anybody listening that knows people with children, you need to talk to them about this like tomorrow. Because this has been uncovered. They're documenting it. I'll get the links into the Twitter feed this week. But what they're doing is they'll take a cell phone and they'll break the glass in the cell phone and they'll just leave it on a school ground. And usually a kid picks that up and the cell phone's on. Kids know how to use them. They start and say, well, I'll get this back to the owner, and they start texting them. And the cell phone looks like it belongs to a young girl or a woman, something that the kid wouldn't even, their guard wouldn't be up.
I got you.
They start texting them back and forth, and they get them to meet them. And this one, and I don't know, it was just so disturbing. I couldn't even continue on with it because it seemed like it was a real thing that happened. And they had, it's either that or a scenario of stuff that they've already uncovered. But they talk this kid into going to this area where they're at, and then they lock him in. And, the kid is, I don't know if he ran away or what. He says, you're an adult, and the last text he sends to the kid says, you better not be crying because my brother hates criers. And the hair on the back of my neck just is probably still standing up. So if talk to your children, if they find a cell phone, turn it in to their teachers, and don't communicate with. If you find a cell phone, don't use it, because that's another scam that these scumbags are using. Not to mention social media, Facebook. Don't post pictures of your children on Facebook. That's a catalog for these people. They drive around, and if you've ever seen Silence of the Lambs, the van with no windows, and they cruise the streets looking to pick up these kids, and it's happening every day. And they use Facebook, they use any social media that they can target these kids and these sick, and I can't even call them animals because it would be insulting animals. I don't even know what they are. These subhumans, this group of I don't know what. It's like an order. They have catalogs for these kids, just like they did, and it wasn't as sophisticated back, in the Finders case in the 80s. They took pictures of the kids and they made the catalogs. But now it's like all electronic, digital, and your kids are targeted. And so please, and you can't let them out of your sight. So I know I kind of digressed there, but that just popped up and I had to get it out.
No, you're cool. Totally fine.
Yeah.
We're talking about too. I came across this article. Let me pull it up for a second. They're hashtagging it ElsaGate. Did you hear about this? Elsa from the Disney movie Frozen.
No.
So, there's stuff on YouTube, sexually explicit images or depictions of Elsa from YouTube, and some kids are going on and watching this stuff. I haven't seen it yet. WGN TV in Chicago did an article. I'm pulling it up now, but they're calling it ElsaGate. And I had seen somebody had posted a picture on Twitter a while ago, and it was a frozen. It was an Elsa frozen. It was a microphone, and it just looked like a dildo. I mean, straight up.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for that picture. So there seems to be something, I've seen some other things with Disney also, pretty blatant things, but there seems to be a lot going on with Elsa and sexual exploitation, and they're bringing the kids in.
Well, we'll be looking after that. And also I want to thank, a lot of the people, that have been funneling this information, and we talked a little bit about this last week. That's, I think, where we're going with this show is a crowdsource type of setup where people, and there seems to be no shortage of people that are interested and want to help, and information like that, like you talk about. We can't research everything. There's a limit to what we can do, and some people are better at research than others, and please, contact us. There's you can contact us at trafficreport1@gmail.com. direct message us, just tweet at us.
All right. So when WGN9 in Chicago, heard about this, they did a little test. They said, for example, when we typed in Elsa Anna into YouTube's search tool, the suggested videos results initially seemed fine. However, after clicking on a few of them, we started to see some suggested videos that were anything but okay. Many of the videos we found had titles suggesting nudity or violence. Even more had thumbnail images featuring scantily clad characters. Other clips showed characters removing another's clothing, holding guns, or engaging in bizarre behaviors involving urination and defecation. Some videos we found featured drawings of My Little Ponies engaging in sexual acts, and still others depicted children receiving shots in the buttocks. So, these people, I guess the thing to do is, capitalize on the popularity of Frozen, lure kids in, and then make these disturbing videos based on these cartoon figures. And I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on this. I mean, I don't really use YouTube like this, but it's, I spend time on Twitter.
That's the other thing too. Not only can you not let your kids out of your sight, you better have some filters on. If they have any access to, the internet, you better have some very strong filters. And there's no substitute for paying attention to what the hell they're looking at and what they're doing, because they're doing this in every way. They desensitize the kids. It's grooming. That's all it is. Because they do it, and that's done on a massive scale because of the way we're immersed in this technology. And then when the opportunity comes for whatever pedophile to make his move on this kid, they're kind of desensitized to the rape and the abuse, because they've been seeing it, and it's a lot of it's subliminal too. I mean, there's been a lot of research on cartoon images way back, into the 50s and 60s where this was going on. It's so sick. It's unbelievable. But
but at the same time, I mean, parents have a certain expectation of, if they ask their kids what they're doing and they're saying, I'm on YouTube. I mean, there's a certain expectation that their children are going to be safe, that they're not going to run into this stuff. How is a parent supposed to monitor every, sick, demented thing that is going on?
Yeah, I agree with you. But, if it was me, sorry, there's no access. That it would just be, if I wasn't sitting there with the kid, there would be no access. And I agree with you. I totally agree with you. But look at, we have that expectation when you send your kid to the Boy Scouts. We have that expectation when you send your kids to the Explorer programs. We have that expectation when they're in their schools. Look at what we've covered week after week after week. And yeah, we have a lot of expectations, but the reality is this is just everywhere. And
I know. Well, what I'm saying, I'm saying Google's not doing their job. I mean, Twitter's doing their job. I mean, they're knocking us off left and right, but they, I got suspended off of YouTube for posting, video clips of Joe Biden and calling him a pedophile. They suspended me right quick.
Oh, let me just say it, because I don't think they can kick us off UCY, but Arun Rao.
Oh, yeah.
Arun Rao. Does just look through our, if you want to know who Arun Rao is, just look through our Twitter feed, because apparently Twitter was bouncing people left and right for exposing this Justice Department official that had liked a hell of a lot of these creepy Jimmy Comet posts, right? Howie, that's who this guy is.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird, but he kind of resembles one of the AWONs,
Yeah. What is he? Is he a district attorney in D.C.?
Yeah, the district of he's not a district attorney, but he's a U.S. attorney for that district.
Oh, U.S. attorney, okay, or whatever.
I think he's an assistant U.S. attorney, but he's
a lawyer.
He's in
He'll
charge
bring
of the
him-
corruption, the prosecution of corruption, and this. And that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name, yeah, people were talking about him months ago, and yeah, he works in the U.S. Attorney, Chief Southern Division, United States Attorney's Office for the District of he's for the District of Maryland, and he just looks like a piece of shit. But his name will get you suspended. Brian Podesta.
Yeah.
From the.
Yeah, let's talk about Podesta. We just had, and I see this over and over and over. Prosecute Podesta and his gang. Yeah, that's what we're trying to get done. And please, people realize this is all part of it. You need to be just as wound up about Seth Rich, about the Awan brothers, about all this corruption that you're hearing about, because it's all totally interrelated. The Awan brothers and Crowdsource and The Truth and George and Trish have exposed this. That whole rat line and the diplomatic immunity and the tractor trailers of crap that they're bringing in out of this country under diplomatic immunity, which is just ridiculous. Child trafficking is a big part of that. These are the big three. This is what these do. And Podestas in their fancy art galleries and they don't have diplomatic immunity. They just have other immunity through the State Department because it's art, Howie. It's art. We're a cultured society. Yeah. And it's a rat line. It's a rat line, and we talked about it last week. The money from these, whether it's drug sales or they're getting. I read this figure, and I just I nearly died. $10,000 to $12,000 per kid. Okay. These networks that are nabbing these kids off our streets and selling them to probably be murdered when they're through with them, fetch $10,000 to $12,000 and probably lower in underdeveloped countries. Haiti or something. It's probably maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a kid because the poorer they are and the easier they are to get. They don't have to put the effort. They just send somebody like Laura Silsby to Haiti, and you can get a busload of orphans, or Africa.
I think the Haitian children are more for. I mean, I just always had a theory that they're more for the spirit cooking, but that's just my take on it. Yeah. But when I said Podesta, John, did you hear me? The guy's name is Brian Podesta. Are you familiar with him? He works for the National Center of Missing Exploited Children. They found him out back in February. Well, they were trying to connect whether Brian Podesta was related to John Podesta, and like how many Podestas are out there. But his name, people were literally typing his name and being instant suspended. I don't know why Brian Podesta was such a hot button thing, but I never saw anything like it. I never once typed Brian Podesta on Twitter.
Wow. Well, you know what? I'm going to do that tomorrow and see what happens. And I thank Twitter for and please, hashtag this. Make an account, make a test account with a Gmail address and type ARUNRAO. And see if they suspend you. Type Brian Podesta. Because with this Rao guy, the U.S. Assistant Attorney for, I believe it's the Southern District in D.C., apparently they're banning people off Twitter. And I thank Twitter for confirming our suspicions, because that's what they do. It's like these operations, and Seth Rich and all the other crap. They think they're so sophisticated. They're leaving unmistakable fingerprints, and I guess one of them would be Twitter suspending you for typing a name. What more proof do you need than that sensitive information, and they don't want it out there? I mean, Can you give us why does that violate their terms of service? A name. Do you know?
But there's certain, but you can type at John Podesta. But I'm just saying, when you started getting on Brian Podesta, I saw it. People were just getting like instant suspended. So, and that's National Center. So,
Oh yeah, and National Center. I have a question for them too. While we're on the subject, why did it take from January till now to arrest the deputy attorney general in California, if they were notified in January? How many?
Well, they had to do a thorough investigation.
Yeah, it was kind of like Nasser. The FBI were notified, and he basically got 6 months to continue offending until he was removed from society. So yeah, I would. I think, isn't that a hotline? Doesn't it say that National Center is a hotline to?
Well, they only work closely with law enforcement, so they really can't they really can't do anything. Takes them a while to.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to know, and being a public service organization, I'd love to know the process and how that works. So let's, especially
you'll never.
Yeah.
You'll never find that out.
Yeah, and that's top secret, top secret, like whatever Learning for Life does. The Explorer programs is.
Well, there's been a couple times. I've never veered off of Pizzagate. I believe it to be totally true. I believe there's a pizza connection. I believe there's a pizza parlor connection. I believe James Alefantis, John Podesta, and many other people in D.C. Obviously I believe in, Pedogate also. But, Pizzagate, when I get trolls, I got one today, from C-SPAN. When they, you're a nutter for believing in Pizzagate. Antifa called me a wing nut for believing in Pizzagate. It incenses people. It even incensed Imran Awan's lawyer. Did you read the statement? Yes. So I just want to put this out there, and he had nothing to do with Pizzagate. Imran Awan had nothing to do with Pizzagate. He's got a myriad of problems. However, in the first paragraph of the statement on the Imran Awan case, the attacks on Mr. Awan and Mr. Awan and his family.
They're called charges, not attacks.
Yes, he's being attacked, and his family that all worked for the Democrats.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Okay.
Yes. Began as part of the frenzy. It's because of anti-Muslim bigotry in the literal heart of our democracy, the House of Representatives. For months, we have had utterly unsupported, outlandish, and slanderous statements targeting Mr. Awan, coming not just from the ultra right-wing, in quotes, Pizzagate media, but from sitting members of Congress. What the fuck is he mentioning Pizzagate for?
I'm telling you, and I'm telling you, and when we got together to do this, and I really don't give a damn, because I looked at the stuff and I knew it was for real just from past experience. But they did such a good psyop on that coming out that it's still working, and some idiot like that would even use it. They put such a bad taste in people's mouth with that fake news psyop about, that's why that came out, was for that story. Okay. Then the right got a hold of it, and they turned it around on their ass, which they didn't like very much. And now it's like it's just chaos. But that was a psychological operation on blowing that case up, where and they did, they've done the same thing before, with the Kennedy assassination, both of them. With Martin Luther King, conspiracy. The CIA coined the term conspiracy theorist as a psyop diffuse any questions that would be asked about their assassinations.
But it's shocking. I mean, Hillary did a speech at Wellesley, the commencement speech. She brought up Pizzagate.
That's what I mean. And it's
John McCain was on was on Late Night with Seth Meyers bringing up Pizzagate. Everybody, because by sending Edgar Madison Welch into Comet Ping Pong and doing this fake shooting, that they knew they had to do something. And now when everybody says Pizzagate, the guy that shot up the pizza place and almost killed people. We didn't see anybody leaving the place, but people and children were, and all this shit. But I mean, the fact that they still spend so much time on this and still bring it up 9 months later, man, it just tells me.
It's like Twitter, Howie. It's like Twitter. They're pointing us. They're confirming what we're saying.
Exactly. Nothing. When I saw this statement, I mean, the last thing I didn't expect to see Pizzagate in an Imran Awan, lawyer statement. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for just, not that I needed any more confirmation, but thank you so much.
Okay.
The ultra right wing Pizzagate media.
Yeah.
So apparently I'm ultra right wing now.
Me too. I guess George Webb and we were all basically Bernie supporters, but George Webb, they tarred him with that stick. He's ultra. Yeah, and CNN wrote that about them. He's right wing, alternate right wing journalist George Webb, and I'm like, you must have talked to the wrong guy, because George
utterly,
and it's a psyop. I mean, and it was a good one. It was a world class psyop because they knew, and they have these contingencies. They have it all set up, ready to go. If it comes out and those emails came out, they knew the connection was going to get made there, and they were ready. And as soon as
the gunman,
both barrels, and it, very effective, but that's what they do. They control minds by using propaganda, which is actually public relations, because we remember the Nazis gave propaganda a bad name, so that's why they use public relations. So. But oh man, it's just but we're chipping away, and I see pieces flying out of the dam, and the ones that are flying, and I think Wasserman's head is just going to fly off into space, and it's just so great because she has been, and she better watch out because she knows where the bodies are buried, okay? And the Clintons don't like people like that walking around that could be indicted and then roll on them. So, I would check your brakes, Debbie, if you get into your car, because the Clinton Foundation and Mafia has so many unexplained deaths. It's more than, the Center for Disease Control, I think, in unexplained deaths. But, she is just, okay, let's take the phone call to Jared Beck. Let's make a death threat, and we'll use a voice changer, digital software, but we'll forget to use the caller ID. Okay, that's one. Okay, and then you go through all our other blunders. Next, in a public hearing, let's berate and threaten the chief of the Capitol Police. Okay, strike two, Debbie. And sure. To me, she just swung, and it's strike three. They fire Awan the day after he gets indicted. Okay? What does that tell you? What it says to me is they're idiots, because this has been around for almost a year. And, to me that would, you fire him or you just sever your contacts, but apparently he has something on them, so they couldn't fire him. Yeah. And they had to wait until he's in. But
other Democrats fired him.
Yeah.
But she held on.
Yeah.
And he's been with her. I mean, where did she find this Pakistani national? I mean, the guy's only like 37 years old. He's been with her for 12 years. She found some 25-year-old Pakistani guy to be her IT guy back in 2005 in Florida. What the hell's going? Who is this guy?
Yep. He's trained by the Pakistani 111th, one of the most sophisticated military intelligence outfits in the world, trained by MI6, the Brits, who are just the biggest scumbags on the face of the earth. They're worse than the CIA, MI6. But that's where he came from. And yeah, he had the goods on. He had the goods on everybody, but he damn well has the goods on her. And waiting. And most people, I don't know how you get charged with a crime. You don't get fired.
Right? Yeah. No. Let's let the facts. Let the facts. Leave
without pay. Administrative. I mean, she is obviously flailing, and I tell you what, she better watch herself, because the people that she's dealing with are ruthless, and they've proved their ruthlessness.
She's their little pit bull going around doing all the dirty work. She just looks like the dirty work over. But she's gonna have another problem, because there's the representatives, they get elected every 2 years, and I think she's going to have a heck of a time getting reelected. After this comes out.
Do you think? Yeah.
I mean, if Florida, Florida's on the edge, Democrat, Republican. I don't know.
I lived there since '72 till 2011. We called it Florida. So, but I think even now that she will not get reelected, and she'll be lucky if she. And what these idiots don't realize that are involved in this, the Clintons will throw her to the wolves in a minute. It's like, okay, just So I would not want to be her, just on a whole lot of different levels. But the wheels are coming off, and that's good news for people who care about child trafficking. It's good news for people who have confidence that we can be the country that we set out to be. Kennedy talked about that. So yeah, I think this has been an encouraging week, and things are happening. I don't remember any time in history where a deputy attorney general has been arrested for images of child rape, and hopefully there's so many great people that I think we're going to get on here. One of them being Lori Handrahan. Jules, shout out to Jules. She's up and around.
She really does. It's great news.
Yes, yeah. She's she's still got a ways to go, but she's with us. I texted her at length the other day, and that is a relief. And so welcome back, Jules. She's doing her show again, which is cool. And so look for that. And we're gonna get some interviews on here, and it's a little hard because, as you know, and we appreciate everybody that stays up this late and listens to us. Butterfly, V, Bailey, but we're gonna get some interviews so we can get people like Lori Handrahan and Jim Rothstein and Howie. You've got a number of people that you want on the show.
Yeah, I keep losing them because when my Twitter account gets suspended, I lose people. So we'll come back and we'll start getting some other voices on here too.
Yeah, and formats, and we may have. There's we're thinking about where we're going in the future, and maybe some I just like interaction, and maybe we can figure out a way where people can call in and something like that, or Skype in or whatever, and just get some interaction, because there's a lot of people with a lot of good things to say about our course and what we're doing and how it, and that's the way I look at it. It's a crowdsource. It's worked beautifully for Crowdsource the Truth, George Webb, Jason Goodman, and Trish Negron. And I mean, they had this story, and this story is coming out. And somebody, who was it? Yeah, H.A. Goodman owes George a big apology, I think. And because apparently he wasn't crazy after all, at least not according to the FBI in that indictment. And
I didn't realize. I don't watch him, but it's okay. I was just looking up that Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She won her last election 56% to 40%. So I mean, there's work to do, but I think, I mean, it's doable. I mean, it's a 15-point gap, but it's doable. She in 2014 she won 62% to 37%, and then in 2016 she won 56%. So she dropped 6 points in in one cycle. So I mean, it's possible, and we get rid of her. Well, even if she doesn't lose, maybe we can get rid of her another way and just arrest her for threatening.
Like an indictment. And it's coming. I'm telling you, they're unraveling, and somebody always gets indicted, and somebody is going to, and I don't see anybody else they can throw to the wolves except her. I don't see anybody that's lower than her that anybody will be. And what they'll try to do, they'll try to give her up and then let all the other ones skate. But hopefully that won't take place either, because it looks to me like the whole shit show is coming apart, and I can't wait. We have a great constitution. We have great infrastructure. We have good people. And we don't need a specific party and a specific number of corrupt politicians for our country to continue. We have good people in the military. We have good people. We've been kicked around and pointed in all these wrong directions by a very small number of people, mostly billionaire class ruling elites that, put their interests above ours. And, but there's, we outnumber them vastly, and the good outweigh the bad. And if you listen to the news and all the propaganda, you start to believe, well, there's not enough good people to survive if the government was to collapse. What a bunch of horse shit. It couldn't be getting done any worse than it's being done right now. Could it? I would vote for you, Howie, in a minute. And I bet you could walk into the House of Representatives and do as good or better job than 80% of the ones that are there. You said, what was that representative that you called in on C-SPAN? You were asking these questions, and my God, that woman.
Oh, his name was he's from Georgia. Kurt, I think it was like Loudermilk. It was Loudermilk. And
wasn't there a woman too that you did that to, and she was a representative? And
she was. Yeah, I've called her a few times. She was from Michigan. What did I bring up with her? Crap, I can't remember. But
I don't know. But it was like, it should be common knowledge among.
Oh, I brought up Seth Rich to her, and she took a big gulp of water and just she was very confused.
Deer in the headlight-ish. It was almost painful to watch. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, then you didn't see it was Barry Loudermilk, his name was. And do you remember there was a terrorist in New York City. He did some bomb like right on the street. This is way back in last year and maybe October. It kind of came.
Yes.
Anyway, he came on to the whole terrorism story. I mean, the whole thing to me was fake, but it was right in the middle of the whole Paul Gambetta Stone Tier.
I knew the music was going to get you. You tried, Howie.
I was trying to. I'll talk about him.
Yeah, we're going to regroup. We'll be back Tuesday. If you guys have any suggestions for Tuesday's show, hit the Twitter line. Thank you, Howie.
I'm sure there'll be new cases coming up over the weekend.
See you Tuesday, my friend.